Assalamu alaikum. By the grace of Almighty Allah and by the continuous support of Professor Dr. Shujaat Mubarak and respected Sir Rana Tariq, I am able to complete my quantitative research methodology course and my report. My topic for today is impact of performance appraisals and role of motivation on employer performance. I am student of Muhammad Ali Jinnah University and my name is Munazza Kiran. Introduction. The background of this study. The history of performance appraisal is fairly brief. Its roots can be traced in early 20th century to Taylor pioneering time and motion studies. The performance appraisal system started experience mainly in 1940, and with the help of this system, merit rating was used for the first time near Second World War as a method of justifying employee wages. Performance appraisal is also being seen as having a direct influence on job satisfaction and motivation of a worker. The efficiency, capabilities, and experience of human element and its enthusiasm for action depend on the efficiency and success of the organization and its objective. These foundations begins with the planning, selection, training, incentives, evaluation, and everything related to a human element. Negotiation. Human resource management has the role of initial communication with staff representatives. Sector of Pakistan. Statement. The research purpose to explore the performance appraisal system and its effect on employer performance together with the moderating role of motivations amongst the employee. The study further recognized the problem of job performance through moderating variable and the impact of motivation on performance amongst the employee. Research objective. To investigate the effect of performance appraisal system and motivation on employer performance, to know how employees in an organization react to performance appraisal in reaction to how they are motivated. To know if motivation play a role in performance appraisal to be more productive, and to know the benefits of rewards and incentive and training and development on employer performance. The research gap. Due to the uncertain environmental changes posed on our human lives and global economical changes in all over the world that create difficulty for everyone. Every single person is a part of effective circumstances, and the same has been faced due to COVID-19 by me. During the collection of data and responses gathered from people. Contribution of the study. The contribution of the study has been investigated the impact of training and development, incentive and reward and performance appraisal on employee performance of different sector and mediating role of motivation. Now literature review. I used one dependent and three independent variable and one mediator. The first dependent variable is employee performance. Employee performance refers to how your employee act in a workplace and how healthy they perform the job responsibility you oblige to them. For an individual employee, superiority of work, effectiveness of work, and proficiency at the task level refer employee performance. Job performance is defined as a total calculation of how well an employee achieves an organization prospect. Calculating the employee performance. By focus on action rather than movement, you can improve your wide-ranging business and help your employee to evaluate to their career. The second variable is motivation that play a mediator role in this research. Motivation is the word derived from word motive, which means needs, desire, wants, or drive within the individual. It is the process of encouraging people to action to complete the goals. Motivation is like a vision that stimulates a person to perform because human behavior is attached by some desired goal. Theories of motivation. Over the years, dozens of theories of motivation have been proposed, and some were developed with the workplace productivity in mind. Notable contributes to content theory of motivation. The founder of the motivation theory is Abraham Maslow. He presents the first theory, the hierarchy of needs theory. The process theory of motivations, the founder is Victor Rohn. He presents the expectancy theory. Edwin Locke presents the goal theory. John Stacey presents the Adam equity theory, and B.F. Skinner reinforcement theory. Literature review. Approaches of motivation, traditional approach, and the human relational approach. Traditional approach. Taylor developed a method for constructing job that is called scientific management. He assumed that the employees are economically inspired and work to earn as much money as they can, and so he promoted for a pay incentives. Furthermore, through the role of money as a motivating factor cannot be overlooked, but the supporters of the view have failed to take into deliberate other factors of motivation. The second one is human relational approach. The approach assumes that the employee wants to sense useful and significant, and they have strong social requirements that are more important in motivating employee. This approach advises managers to make workers feel imperative and allow them a point of self-control in carrying out their duties. This environment will result to a higher motivation to perform. The third independent variable is performance appraisal. Performance appraisal sounds modest, but researchers tell us that it is commonly used in a performance opinion and recognize individual employees' strength and weakness. Performance appraisal is a different formal, organizationally authorized event, usually not happening more habitually than once or twice in a year, which has visibly quantified performance, extent, or measure that are used in appraisal process. Besides, it is an evaluation process in that computable scores are often assigned based on the judged level of the employee job performance on the scope of benchmark use, and the scores are shared with the employees being appraised. Behavior-based approach. This is the type of performance appraisal that use a specific performance factor of evaluate employee. Result focus approach. This is the type of approach that focus on a result to be derived from the appraisals. We noted both advantages and disadvantages to result-based performance appraisal approaches. Our fourth variable is training and development. It is an independent variable. Vast amount of published research has highlighted the type of relationship that exists between training and deployment, and the common organizational measures like performance, productivity, competitive edge, and effectiveness. When brought together, training and development, it considered as a very essential part of human resource department in any organization. The fifth and last independent variable is reward and incentive. Reward is the remuneration that an employee receives in return of the work and services and had performed in an organization. Reward play a significant role in supporting worker job performance in an organization. The administrative organization greatly benefits from applying the reward system through multiple ways which are reflected on job performance, such as focusing effort and evaluating their effectiveness and evaluating worker achievements and their actual abilities. Conceptual framework. Here we have one dependent variable, that is employee performance. And three independent variables: performance appraisal, training and development, reward and incentive, and the mediator, that is motivation. We check here the impact of independence variable on dependent variable with the help of motivations. Either motivation play any role in it or they have different impact on each other. Methodology. Research design. Survey approaches is a quantitative data collection method and have been utilized to collect data on human resource practices affecting employee in a different organization. The study established the association of dependent and independent variable and the role of mediator. Target population. The target population of our study was the employer that are working in a different sector of Pakistan. Sampling design. Sample random sampling technique is inexpensive and economical way to investigate in a limited time duration. I use Google Doc. Data collection instrument. The questionnaire is an important source of assembling a data. The question developed to collect a quantitative data. Data has been composed by applying a standard questionnaire. Sample size. I gather data that is approximately of 100 and 153 respondents with the help of simple random sampling techniques. Selected variable. The instrument consists of 20 items measuring 5 dimensions, namely employee performance, performance appraisal, rewards and incentive, and mediating role of motivation. This scale I use is a 5-point Likert scale, that is strongly agree, disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. Why do I select the method of PLS software? Actually, partial least square structural equation model is used for data analysis to test the measurement and substantive model of the study. It shows an estimate of relationship of a main construct in the study widely used by researchers exploring the theories. We use here to examine the causal and effects relationship between a number of independent and dependent variable and the mediator or moderating role. The structural equation model is the best method to be used. The statistical analysis allow the researcher to test the causal and effects relationship of those variables simultaneously, reducing the impact of type 1 error. Common theories under SAM statistical analysis. Techniques what we are used in our study is convergent validity and discriminant validity for accessing the goodness of the validity of items to be measured. Assessment of the factor loading, that is particularly must be greater than 0.70. Average variance explained, that is particularly must be greater than 0.50. Composite reliability, particularly must be greater than 0.70 are the common assessment of measuring the convergent validity. Apart from that, the Fornell-Lacker discriminant analysis is another tool for accessing the discriminant validity. The SPSS statistical software is easily able to perform both parametrics and non-parametrics comparison analysis. It's also permit the researcher to check the assumption of a test such as normality test and outlier test. Besides that, this statistical package enables a frequent analysis of perfect conduct. The result obtained from this database show a positive relationship between performance appraisal, employee performance, training and development, reward and incentive, and mediating role of motivation. Results. The reliability and validity test. To evaluate the reliability and validity of collected data, an instrument is valid if it is measured what it is intended to measure. It is used to check the accuracy of data and accuracy achieve the purpose for which it was designed. There is a different measure of evaluation. Here we focus on convergent validity, internal consistency, and discriminant validity. Cronbach alpha. The initial factor to determine the reliability and Cronbach alpha, which measures the consistency of responses. The greater value shows more reliable generated scale. In this table, you can see the reliability value of the first three stated variables range from 0.70 to 0.74 and are equivalent to the prescribed threshold of Cronbach alpha that is greater than 0.70, and it is a comparison of Cronbach alpha values are compatible to reliability tests of conduct study. Hence, scale is reliable. Therefore, remaining two variables have 0.68 and 0.69 show less indicates, and there is a problem regarding the consistency, but the remaining three have justified consistency. In the figure 2, we can see the composite reliability. The composite reliability, we see that all the values are up to the mark, that is in range from 0.79 to 0.88, greater than the benchmark value. Convergent reliability. Convergent validity is the extent to which a measure correlates positively with alternate measure of the same construct. To establish convergent validity, we consider outer loading of an indicator as well as the average variance extract. Average variance extract, AVE. Average variance extract, AVE, ranged from 0.50 to 0.79 in our table. It is used for convergent validity. All values are greater than the threshold of 0.50 represent all convergent validity exists between variable. Outer loading. The outer factor loading represents that all indicator with its respective construct. All values are greater than 0.70. The indicator performance appraisal, reward and incentive, and training and development with the outer loading between 0.50 and 0.70 should be considered and acceptable. Discriminant validity. The Forner-Larker criterion and cross-loading. First, we discuss the Forner-Larker. Square root of AVE should be greater than the other correlations. The Forner-Larker tells us that all top values are greater than the side values as well as the lower value, and that shows each variable was different from other variable and define the discriminant validity exists. The top value in every column is a square root of AVE value, and the bottom and the left value are correlation. In the third column, the top value, which is 0.707, is a square root of AVE value, and the bottom value 0.668 is the correlation, and left value are also correlations. The square root of AVE is higher than the correlation with other construct. Cross-loading. The outer loading of an indicator with its own construct should be greater than the loading on the other construct. In the first row table, the indicator EP1 has the outer loading of 0.890 with the construct EP, and it is greater than the loading of all other construct, that is motivation, performance appraisal, reward and incentive, and training and development. Indicator RI4 has outer loading 0.685 with its own construct RI, and it is greater than the loading on other construct, that is employer performance, motivation, performance appraisals, and training and development. The same phenomena are applying to all indicators. Multicollinearity. Collinearity statistics are seen in outer VIF and inner VIF. The outer VIF, when we first see the outer VIF, first we can describe the multicollinearity. High correlation between the indicator referred as collinearity. This interprets that two indicators are explaining the same phenomena. The problem can be occur when two items are placed to measure the same element or one item is placed on multiple constructs. Benchmark for outer VIF is less than 5, and the same benchmark for inner VIF, it is also less than 5. In our figures, in our charts, you can see we have both the values are less than 5. Coefficient of determination R square. The coefficient of determination measures the model predictive power and calculates as a square correlations between specific endogenous construct, actual value and predicted value. The value lies between 0 to 1. Higher value shows the higher predictive accuracy. There is no particular described criteria for evaluating R square value. A common rule of thumb that R square value of 0.75 is substantial, 0.50 considered as medium, and 0.25 considered as a weak respectively. And here we get 0.370 and 0.421. So it means we have a moderate and weak relations over there. Bootstrapping for testing significance. In bootstrapping, the large number of sample is drawn from the large original sample. Each bootstrapping sample contains the same number of observations as the original sample. This procedure enables to calculate standard error and empirical t-value. If t-value is greater than the critical value, it concludes that there is a significant relationship between variables. The subsample size must be at least equal to the number of observations in the data file. The recommendation subsample size is 5000. Now, path coefficient. Here we are comparing the results on 0.05 significant level. T-value is greater than 1.96 and less than 0.50. Specific indirect effect, total effect and p-value. P-value and t-value are extremely near to threshold value as we can see in the table. T-value is greater than 1.96 and p-value is less than 0.05. So we consider hypothesis to be accepted. Now, hypothesis testing. The hypothesis testing is actually shows the results of all the tests. The fact of primary nature, as it was collected from the different sector of Karachi, Pakistan, by a research questionnaire, and then its hypotheses were verified by correlation analysis. Construct cross-validation redundancy. Q square should be greater than 0. Here Q square is 0.27 that predicts relevance. In hypothesis testing chart, you can see, here we can understand the hypothesis testing chart. Here we understand all the independent variable are correlation with the dependent variable and the motivation play a significant role between them, like performance appraisal construct correlate with employee performance. Reward and incentive correlates with employee performance. Training and development have correlations with employee performance. And they supported the model. And we can get R square 0.370 and 0.421. So it means that the moderate and weak effect between them. R square is 0.27, Q square is 0.27 that predicts relevancy in the model. the results, the discussions and conclusions. We implement an expectancy-based motivational framework and used to improve the series of research proposals is about contextual and system aspect that would establish the appraisals and motivational process resulting in enhanced employee performance. The study has highlighted the importance of role of training and development on employee performance, incentive and recognition plan, appraisal system and adequate workload at the workplace. Conclusion. In this study, the relationship between employee performance and performance appraisal system, reward and incentive, and training and development also a part of mediator, that is motivation in it, where investigated employee of different sector in Karachi formed the sample of this study. According to the study, it is found that training and development has a positive effects on employee performance. The second hypothesis aimed to measure the performance appraisal have positive effects on employee performance. The third hypothesis is reward and incentive have a positive effect on employee performance. The fourth hypothesis is motivation mediates the relationship between performance appraisal and employee performance. The fifth hypothesis is motivation mediates the relationship between training and development and employee performance. Last but not least, hypothesis is motivational mediates the relationship between reward and incentive and employee performance. Hence, it is proved that all the hypotheses are accepted in my report. Thank you so very much.